to Duo Q, where we test how well our duos know each other. We have Jankos and Perkz, and Caps and Mikyx on the other side. Let's get started. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. First question. Who plays Lissandra better?
Oh, easy.
Easy. 3, 2, 1. And that's a match. Mikyx, really? Even support? No?
No.
No? All right.
I'm not very good on Lissandra.
I did win against T1 with Lissandra, so...
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, the only
enough.
proof you need.
Like, looking back at my games with Lissandra on stage, I was mega choking it. So.
Who is the better Pyke player?
Okay, sure.
Okay, 3.
3, 2, 1.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah,
because
I mean,
you
I
guys flexed
actually
it.
played him,
Yeah, it's easy.
Who can drive Shelly the best? 3, 2, 1.
It's obviously me, right?
That's not
What?
a match! What?
What? I never failed it. I never failed it once.
But did you see what you did on stage?
What?
Yeah.
I drove
What
it
was
all the
that?
way to mid perfectly.
What was that?
I mean, okay, this is obvious as well.
Okay,
Please
okay.
don't mess it up.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. Reveal. Jankos
Yeah,
and
the
Jankos.
Jankos
That's-
makes
I
sense.
don't even drive shit.
Yeah, it's easy.
You don't even try it. Which of you carried the most on the G2 2019 lineup? Oh my god, this
Oh
is
my god, there's so much ego. Okay, just
Alright.
hear me out. I have more MVPs.
3, 2, 1. Reveal.
Bro, it's so much ego from you.
I was so good at AD carry, like it was crazy, man.
You were.
I mean,
But I was kind of good at jungling, you know.
True.
Who carried your bot lane in spring 2020?
Oh.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Reveal. And it's a match.
I'll put it just to
Alright.
show how humble I am.
Yeah, that is very humble of you. I didn't expect
You
it.
didn't expect it,
I didn't
right?
expect it. I'm
didn't
actually
expect
shocked.
You didn't expect it.
I was about to say like you're Philios, but
It was mainly to make you happy. To be fair.
I am
you know, but-
very happy right now. Thank you.
All right, next question, guys. Who is more likely to get his friends in trouble? Who's more likely to get his friends in trouble? 3, 2, 1. Reveal. And that's a match.
Not very tough, yeah.
I mean,
Anything to say on these, Caps?
I have sometimes taken risks with Mikyx's life, and you know, I'll stand by it.
3,
Okay.
2, 1.
Okay, did you do yourself? Okay. I mean, like,
What do you?
I was just saying.
I know how you behave too.
I think I'm a nice guy as well. My friends will confirm. I think.
All right, next one. Who has the better pocket picks? Who has the better pocket picks? 3, 2, 1. Reveal. Okay, we need
Oh
to
my
talk about
god.
this.
What?
Your pocket picks are so bad.
I'm sorry, guys. Can we all just think back to 2018 Summer
up,
Split
man.
in the playoffs, semifinals? Everyone thought the draft was lost, but boom, the Vayne gets locked in. The Alistair tries to engage, but he fails, and just like that. If that's not a better pocket pick, I don't know what to say.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, honestly, I did only because you did it, but I actually don't think so. I just did it because I know you would ego again, and I wanted to win.
What do you mean, man?
Okay, what
do
are
you
your pocket
mean, man?
picks?
But I have so many. I won't say pocket picks, obviously.
Oh, okay, sure.
I just took Corky out of my pocket as well today.
Last question, guys. Who steals the most kills in game? Who steals the most kills? 3, 2, 1. Reveal.
Very obvious. What?
Okay, you steal the most kills because the kills belong to me. So I don't actually steal any kills. So basically every kill you take is stolen.
So who steals the most kills?
I mean-
3, 2, 1.
It is crazy how many kills you stole. Like, I remember when you were jungling, like you were stealing so. I remember this one kill with Shen jungle. Oh my god, I was so tilted.
Okay, but I carried the game with my pocket pick, by the way. Did you have any kills today?
One.
Yeah, it was stolen. It was stolen.
Hello and welcome to Duo Q, where we test how well our duos know each other. And we have Caps and Mikyx on one side, and Wunder and... Who are you playing with?
I don't think he could make it.
All right, well, top lane issues. As usual, I still have a question for you, though. Maybe we can try it. Who was the best player in G2 2019?
I think it's the GOAT.
Pretty based, if you ask me. Oh, thank you, Wunder.
And I'm just saying, it's no wonder he thinks he's coming for my job when his teammate doesn't even want to play with him, okay? Like, that's all I'm saying. In Duo Q, not in game, not in game.
If you missed it yesterday, Wunder was just flaming Guldborg, non-stop. He knows something we don't.
And then it was Odoamnes. And
Yeah.
then it was Sjokz today. And now we have Razork on the couch.
Yeah, so maybe he'll flame you as well. But who we won't flame, I don't think, is Team Heretics and G2. Maybe we will, because they are our match of the week. Razork is going to join us here. Or Razork is what Fernando Cardenete told me to.
You can say Razork too.
Yeah.
Or Razork, like Jankos says.
Razork, like Jankos says. And Jankos will be playing today as well. But you are the key player of the game, so I just want to let you know about that. Nice. Noah robbed.
I mean, I think when I play Vi, it's just free win, I think.
Yeah, it was very nice from you indeed, and hopefully you'll also be the MVP in your analysis of this game. It's our match of the week. Razork, if you'd have to sell this match of the week and tell people why it is so incredibly cool to watch, what would you say about the match?
Well, it's all G2, like 3-man on Heretics versus 2-man on G2. And I mean, I think it's just a banger. And in my opinion, two of the best junglers in the league, Yike and Jankos. I respect them a lot. So it's going to be a banger match for sure. I think actually Heretics has decent chance of winning. I don't think it's going to be that one-sided that maybe people expect. I think there's going to be really insane match, yeah.
The junglers, yeah, it's worth talking about, of course. Yike, the new blood in G2, and Jankos saying, you have to get past me first, Guldborg.
I think what's even more impressive about the stats that we're currently seeing from Yike is that his lanes are not winning, okay? They have not been having good early games. He's been invaded quite frequently, but still, he manages to stay afloat. He manages to stay ahead, and I think that's super impressive. A lot of that also comes down to some of the skirmishes. The Vedius we've seen had a huge performance in that game, but also just the fact that he continues to be consistent despite being pushed back by enemy laners.
And he said yesterday, I just don't want to get invaded anymore, guys. He's just really sad of getting invaded. He said the 3v3s haven't been working out bot side for them. Hopefully today they can have a bit cleaner early game, because then they obviously can work on their mid game. But so far it's been a bit shaky for G2.
And that may be an angle, and maybe also why you're saying that we should look at Team Heretics for this one, because we've known that G2 has had trouble with their early game, but they usually can make it work in the mid game. But you're going up against kind of the old trio, but also, of course, Kaiser and Flakked in the bot lane, but a team that might be really good at, I don't want to say outshot calling you, but definitely matching you in the mid game. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, for sure the mid game will be important, but I feel like the most scary part of G2 is at least the early game around bot. I feel like they play really aggressive, the bot lane, and then Yike is always covering and invading, so it can be really annoying as a jungler of bot lane. But right now, with the meta of like kind of the Seraphine Senna that they played yesterday, maybe they can get a draft where they can neutralize the bot lane and make sure that they have decent scalings to mid game, and then I think in teamfights, Heretics has a really decent chance versus G2.
But that's also an aspect of G2 that I hadn't considered until I was actually watching LCS last night, when I saw Insanity play the sack mid, when I realized how many Senna Seraphims we've had. G2 hasn't innovated too much in draft so far, and that used to be a huge aspect of their team. But so far, it's very stock standard. We've seen the affiliates down in the bot side. We see a lot of the same meta champions to come through as well, and just not a lot of experimentation. I just thought that's been weird. Yeah.
Here for spell out. It's fine.
I don't need to hear production.
Go ahead, Treatz.
No, I just think in general as well, like maybe they on purpose don't cook as much for the early game because they don't want to get these massive leads in the early game and snowball the game. I think when they're thinking about their mid game, they want to get there from kind of an even state and not really just play Draven and one-shot the game, so to say. So I think that's also an angle you have to think about. And when it's been a bit shaky in early game, maybe they go towards it in playoffs, kind of the Draven style. But so far, not super impressed by their early game, to be honest.
No,
Draven used to be permaban against them, so...
And now no one cares.
True.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to talk about is the mid lane, Perkz versus Caps, but we'll have to do this after, or actually I think it will be done in the video we're about to show, because it is time for our match of the week. Wait 1 second. Sorry, there's video, but I was too early. Let's talk about Caps versus Perkz.
Banger matchup. You know, two of the best mid laners we've had. The goats. Of course, we had to mention them. Of course, I think more historically and recently, Cap's definitely been the better mid laner, but I think Perkz, outside of the first game in his week when he's been playing Ryze, came back strong with an insane Akali performance that teams started banging out against him. His Corki was super impressive as well, although it's an easy draft to execute, but he's been doing his jobs, and it's been great seeing this resurgence from him as well.
Yeah, everyone called him a bit washed after the first game, kind of in the start of the split, but I think he's been performing really well. And then obviously you have Caps on Azir. That guy does a bit of damage on the champion.
He definitely does. A mid lane matchup to watch. And now for real, time for our match of the week, Heretics versus G2.
A lot of people are comparing Heretics to the old G2. There's also Flakked, who was also part of G2, and it's like the old G2 versus the current G2.
BrokenBlade now joins the party, and BrokenBlade will snip them to pieces.
We are like the boys from 2019, right? Ex-G2 members that literally did everything for the org, along the coaching staff and along Mikyx and Caps.
Pride, honor, it's on the line. The people who were at G2, they don't want to lose to G2. And the people who are on G2, they want to show that they are here because they deserve it, right?
If we are at our peak and they are at their peak, it's gonna be a banger game. If we show up the way we did against Mad Lions, then there is nothing to watch.
Jumping in the back like Jankos has no fear. How clean is this for his 600th game? He didn't need to sweat.
I'm very much looking forward to playing on a more even footing, I would say, this year against G2.
But we are still there. We are still at G2 and they are not anymore, right?
It's getting back in shape, getting like unwashed from being washed.
Let's see which side is washed and which side is not.
The jungle got delivered.
Here we go, the match of the week, as we're already talking about. We were talking about Caps. We were talking about Caps, actually, as we see the players. What were you saying, Razork, about Caps recently?
That I think Caps has been performing insanely good, and I think he is probably one, if not the best mid laner right now in ADC.
He has ups and downs, but he always comes back to clutch it, and they need him sometimes to clutch it, specifically in that mid game. So we'll see where the draft goes.
I mean, it's just the Caps factor. I think, like you said, Razork as well, like no other mid would carry the game that they had yesterday. I think that's just something that Caps does. He just randomly finds angles and has so much pressure on the map. It's so annoying to play against him. It feels like if he gets items, he can carry from no matter what game state he's in.
Yeah, and with this meta right now, Corki, Azir are champions that with 2-3 items, they can honestly just completely 1v9 fights. And I think right now he's feeling confident with these champs and he's just carrying every game more or less.
Yeah, both with the mages, new items, how strong they are, but also how difficult it is to just shut down a mid laner now with the new map changes. It's so much easier to play safe, and it already was quite easy to play safe on a control mage with a dash like Azir. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a contested pick going into the day. G2 though, immediately, we talked a bit about their picks. Senna gets banned.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think they're just a team that hasn't prioritized it throughout history, to be honest, until it was like reckless playing Senna.
Flakked and Tarkman, of
that is also true, yeah. The last couple of years.
Flakked also loves playing Seraphine, and with the new like support item exploit or however you want to call it, it's a really good combination with Senna.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we have heard rumors that there's still different ways to play it as well. Like, you can still go for Seraphine. We saw some Seraphine Karma as well. I think actually in the LCS yesterday as well. And there goes the Seraphine too. So both of them goes away.
That's funny, yeah.
Lots of respect towards the bot lane there.
Yeah. And then Heretics with the Draven and Kalista ban as well. So bot lane looks a bit OP on this patch, I guess. What do you think about that one, Razork?
Yeah, I mean...
Varus?
Probably Varus, yeah. Varus should be...
as well, yeah.
I think it should be probably first pick Varus, yeah.
I think the only outlier right now is
maybe Lucian.
But Nico's also available, so I think there's still takeaways that you can have. Lucian, you know, we talked about it. It's not been performing too well in Europe, but we still see it in LCK, and we still see it have success there too. So I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with the champion, but it's more the way we pilot it.
Might there be a non-traditional pick for Flakked?
I mean, this is the patch to do it, right? You could play something like Karma bot with another enchanter. I think obviously Azir makes a lot of sense. Cork is open too, so that might be a normal trade. As for junglers as well, obviously Vi looks really good when Varus is already locked in on the side of Heretics.
Yeah, for sure. Azir locked in for Perkz. I think maybe Caps will answer with something like Corki. Maybe match this traditional draft.
How do we always end up with Corki?
Azir Corki matchup.
Yay!
Nico's still available as well if he wants to look for some playmaking potential there. Zhao coming through as well, so no Vi this time around, but there's still a lot of champions you can pick into Zhao if you want to counter it. Jax, Zhao. Yike has a huge amount of carry picks he can play in the jungle as well, so I feel like he's happy with this amount of exchange unless he wants to go on a Vi.
Thinking for Yike here, yes, as you said, a lot of picks. I don't think he needs to pick jungle here, right? Razork, I think you can hold jungle 4-5 and look for like a strong bot lane and a mid lane here. I think would make a lot of sense. He wants the Lillia, I guess. That's a pick we haven't seen in a while.
I didn't want to spoil it, but we warmed up against them today. I knew he wanted to pick Lillia, you know, because he played Lillia against me. But
you could have done a sick prediction.
And he's gonna pick maybe Lucian right now. That's what they did.
Lucian. Tristana.
AD mid laner with Lillia.
It's gonna be baby Lucian.
I think it's interesting because
are they gonna flame you if they don't pick it, and then they look at the VOD and they're like, this guy.
Maybe.
They heard you. They're like, this guy.
Dylan said cancel the draft. You have to
copying us.
Wait, did they pick Cassante? They had Cassandra in their backs, by the way.
Oh, blue-red? Yes.
Oh, wow. Maybe now they ban Lucian.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
no,
over, yeah.
no, I
They're
don't think they can
cancelled,
hear
yeah.
it. I mean,
Oh, no.
it should be pretty good. We'll see.
But Lillia is really strong with the new items, obviously. She has the Leandries, she has the Riftmaker, she has Frozen Heart.
Yep.
So many broken items there. I've seen her a lot in solo queue and very, very solid champ.
You're right, it's Cassandra.
Her clear is also really fast.
Yeah.
We got Jhin on the other side, by the way.
Ooh. Jhin into Varus is kind of just to match the wave clear on bot. I personally always think Varus will win this side of the matchup, but when you have Jhin and Azir, at least in mid game, you have a lot of front to back kind of siege potential. So I think that's the style that Heretics bot lane is going to go for, kind of the pushing.
Oh my god, I feel so bad right now.
I know.
Oh my god.
Can we? Let's go like. Oh, they're gonna watch the VOD back. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, but it's obvious, no, with Lillia anyways. You want Tristana, Lucian, AD mid, so...
Yeah, it's totally, we knew it as well.
Good, bro,
it's super predictable. Totally.
Oh my god. A bit yikes, but also I did message a lot of people, and I was surprised because they did tell me at the start of the season that when they were playing on the tournament realm, before that the live patch went live, Lucian was ST in mid lane. Like, Tristana was still getting played. Like, a lot of these champions were getting played.
Yeah.
But I was super surprised that we didn't see any play of it when we then actually reached the first week. But it could have just been the fact that mages look so strong as they did, and they're so safe as well. But of course,
it's not here. Next time we have someone of G2 on the desk for pick and ban, we'll ask to spoil a and then they'll be even.
No, but they should ban Tristana right now. Like, they should look to ban 80 mids for sure. Oh, well, they ban Corki.
Maybe they thought Corki still does 80 damage. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe they should look to pick Tristana now.
I mean,
Caps.
for sure.
Caps Tristana is always a good pick as well, and it makes a lot of sense. From the side of Heretics, I think with no top bans, I would expect them to hold top lane until 5. So I think we're most likely to see support from Kaiser. It's kind of hard to pick into Varus blind pick with a Jhin. There's not that many good supports. Maybe you go for a ranged sup here, perhaps? Something like the Karma. Maybe you do a little barrel way gaming here.
We have seen some Udi as well into the Cassandra if you do want that last pick for Kaiser on the support as well. So with both Rumble and Gwen out of the picture, it's still something you can pick to just have some prio, have some move. Still got some good AD ratios on Jhin and Zhao. I mean, of course not the funniest with a C on the team, but I mean, it's fine.
Wait, now thinking about it, it could be still Cassandra flex.
That's what I was thinking as well. Yeah,
I think Caps can play Cassandra, so I think they might put Cassandra mid. Yeah. And then they counter the Poppy.
That's what I was talking about.
Okay, so they were cooking. You know? They didn't pick Lucian because they wanted to pick Cassandra. Now I feel better.
Okay, and
they were one step ahead of us.
And then they bait the ban Lucian. Nice.
Yeah. So Team Heretics also knew, so it's fine.
But I think this makes sense, yeah. I mean, Poppy is always, I guess, fine. I don't think you have that much value, right? Against Cassandra, it's okay. Let's see if they actually flex the Cassandra mid or if they put it top lane.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Poppy's
It's only
gonna have a hard
Tristana
time.
otherwise, right? For mid lane, for Caps, I think?
No, I think Cassandra should go mid this game. Unless BrokenBlade doesn't have anything against Poppy, but Poppy blind like this
shouldn't be allowed, yeah.
Shouldn't be too good, yeah.
Let's see what they're cooking here on the side of G2. I think it is a really good angle here to do.
Okay.
Tristana, it's just bread and butter, right?
It's
Front
fine.
and back, it's okay as well. They didn't cook too hard this time around. But now
drafting
Kaiser,
is so hard.
This is pretty hard though, I think, as Kaiser. You can't really pick something like Braum because its Syndra is really bad with your champs. Maybe it looks for Renata. There's a lot of auto-attackers and it's pretty good into the Nautilus. There's a lot of different options here for Kaiser. It depends on what... I mean, they're playing front to back. I would expect them to play something like the Braum. Not the best combo with the Jhin, like I said. Yeah, it's a bit of a McDonald's combo there, but at least it's front to back, right? He puts up the shield and blocks a few Varus Qs, so...
I mean, it's good for 3v3 both, at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is how Braum is good combo.
What do we think about what they've been cooking? Who has the best dish?
What do you think, Razork?
I think it's all down to Caps and Yike to execute this draft, in my opinion. If Caps can get perma mid prio, I think at level 6, both teams can win 2v2 on mid lane. But I think both lane of G2 should have push, so that Mikyx will be able to move around the map and help mid lane. So yeah, I think this game will be on bot, mid bot.
Yeah, this is a classic 3K into bot. Here's a Zhao, here's a Braum. Let me see if we can kill them, and if they get away with it, then boom, GG.
Might be a 10 death Nautilus game here, who knows?
Let's see. Also, thank you, Razork, for helping out and spoiling some picks for us. We love it. Do come back.
I don't think they hear it.
Nah, it's all good. But it's time for our match of the week, so let's head over to our casters.
Thank you very much, Sjokz.
kick off with a quick Razork Tabe handshake meme. Things feeling
Stop
good
making
here.
him feel bad. He's fine. You're fine,
pretty low
Razork.
stakes.
You're fine.
Obviously saw them playing it in-houses a lot, so can't hurt too much. But for now, not coming for the draft, will be banned away. Here we are, G2 versus Team Heretics. Only one can reign supreme. Both teams 3-1. And we're just ready to get in the game. I'm Drakos, that's Vedius. Got a wonderful crowd here in Berlin tonight. Ready for a bit of blood on the Rift.
I've been having so much fun reading the fan comments about Heretics just in general, like the retirement home team. Like,
it's great. I don't think they
like it. It's not time for bed yet, you know?
You gotta understand.
Oh, it's so good. Now we finally get to see some of this rivalry. A lot of the players on this G2 roster are the ones that replaced the Heretics roster, right?
Yeah.
Yike is one that came in for Jankos, Hansama coming in for Flakked. Hook does connect.
Tom in trouble here, already marked up. Braum level 1, very strong, forcing out the early ghost.
Small summoner advantage for Heretics there. Getting the ghost out from Hansama, as you highlighted. But yeah, there's a lot on the line here. A lot of banter, a lot of pride for either side. But it's just, it's more about the idea of the boomers versus the zoomers that I love.
That we are going to
this,
take
like,
way too far.
We're going to take way too far and have a lot of fun with.
Which, to be fair, Betty, you shouldn't, you don't want to disrespect them.
I mean, no, nothing but respect.
Nothing but respect.
They're our goats,
when Jankos
right?
started, you had to go uphill both ways to get to the Baron.
When Jankos started, he had to time his own blue and red buff, right?
That's
the game didn't do it for him.
The game didn't do it for him.
No.
You were surprised when a champion had a dash back when these guys started.
That's true.
It's also doubly funny because, like, how did Wunder get dragged into this? He started on the same team Mikyx did.
Yeah, he did.
Both are splice boys.
Yeah, it's funny. It's true. In any case, we're going to be having fun throughout this game. But yeah, both these teams currently sitting at 3-1, fighting for a spot at the top of our table as we enter the halfway point. A bit of pressure on the bot side of the map in favor of G2. The desk did talk about how they expect G2 to have this early push in mid and bot. This gives a lot of freedom for both Mikyx to roam and for Yike to look for some potential invades, and already you can see Heretics warding for that. Perkz dropping that early ward on the top river to spot out for any early Lillia invades, and then obviously the early vision invested from G2 to spot out where Jankos was starting his clear.
Yeah. And while you heard it on the desk as well, that, the Jhin Braum combo, bit of a nombo, not going to work super well together. Obviously, if the Jhin does show up in this lane, if Jankos wants to spend some time on the bottom side, very easy to stack up those concussive blow stacks, to lock someone down, follow up with the triple hit on the CC, and find some early kills. And it has been all about bot lane, kind of as expected when we saw the changes in the new season. There are some top lane ganks here and there, but for the most part, bot-centric play has been the name of the game. As you can see now, though, Mikyx and Hansama taking their time, trying to get that wave to crash as much as possible, potentially get a free recall. Wunder already going to take an early back in the top lane.
But a slow and steady start to both these teams. Pretty much full clears coming out from both sides. Jankos skipping out on his Grom, but that's not a big deal. Hook will connect from Mikyx as the bot lane trades back and forth. Nice trade there from G2. Mikyx, how's he going to use this? I thought there was an opportunity there for them to move into the enemy jungle, and that's exactly what they're going to do. All right, so with the pressure that they have, they look to try and get some insight on that early Grom. Jankos choosing to leave it on his first clear, and Yike going to pick up on this opportunity. The Scuttle Crabs are available, but Jankos doesn't really have many options to be able to contest them. In an ideal world, he'd love to be able to go and get the top side one, but he's currently sitting only at level 3.
Yeah, a bit of a tricky lane phase to navigate. Mikyx getting caught up there. Could have been devastating, but of course, the input buffer on the hook does take him out to safety. You mentioned it already, Caps push in the mid lane, G2's bottom lane having pushed as well. It just makes it so hard for Jankos to contest either of these crabs, really, in the early game.
Yeah, our viewers at home might be wondering, why didn't they go for that fight? It looked like a good fight, and it was exactly as you highlight, Drakos. Caps immediately starts moving in the mid lane. He had that pressure, and Heretics respecting it. Jankos now walking over a ward, putting this extra pressure on the bot side, allowing Flakked and Kaiser to get this push out, relieve some of the relentless pressure that they've been dealing with in the 2v2. Jankos looking for a gank in mid.
Bit of a long con setup here, wrap around the mid lane. Opts not to go for it, it's on the top lane. 1v1.
That's flash.
Quick dash out from Cassante. Has the ghost, can just zoom out to safety, but very close there.
Look at this pathing from Yike. Able to get the respawn on the Raptors as well. Oh, actually, I'm stand corrected. They haven't quite respawned yet. He was just looking for information. Caps got that early base off, meaning that Perkz in a bit of an awkward back timing can, of course, TP back into lane, but gives Caps the opportunity to secure some plate damage. Mikyx
walking up. And again, Flakked doesn't have enough bullets in the gun to stun, so Mikyx doesn't have any real fear of being punished for stepping up there outside of a little bit of lost health.
So just a bit of trading back and forth. Small advantages being gained for G2 across the board. You can see the camp advantage slowly starting to grow for Yike after securing both Scuttle Crabs. So overall, G2 feeling pretty happy with how their early game has gone so far and just leveraging the fact that they have these pushing waves. One of the big strengths of Lillia, of course, is her ability to very quickly clear out these grubs in the early game. And you're seeing her do it right now.
Yeah, and AP junglers in general, one of the big reasons that they rise to popularity outside of the necessity of AD mids is just their clear speed scales so incredibly well. If they get any kind of early advantage, their clear speed ups, their advantage grows more, but Cap's gonna get locked down here. Stun just trying to burn down Perkz, is just gonna get cut out of the mid lane entirely. Yes, some void grubs for G2, but first kill and an excellent roam coming through for Heretics and Kaiser.
Very nice roam from Kaiser, great timing. Caps choosing to go for an all-in at the typical time of a support roam. Mikyx was on his way as well, but he was just a little late to the party. Heretics bot lane finding a good back time, and they will secure first blood. G2, of course, securing themselves the grubs. Yike gonna start pathing towards bot, getting very close to level 6. And when those bot side camps respawning, you imagine the Dragon is gonna be next on the docket for G2.
The sleep setup, very powerful. Hans on the lethality option for the Varus, a locked down target, makes for easy pickings with the Pearson arrow. Of course, in the mid lane, very good that they were able to grab that kill. Of course, Cap's got a plate and has a decent CS advantage, so the gold is still dead even, but a bit of a fumble here from him, overstepping when he did not really need to.
Our observer's highlighting the vision here, and he jumps in just as he sees Kaiser. He chooses not to flash away, though. He thinks that maybe he has the damage to get the kill, but Kaiser soaking up a lot of the damage means that ends up going in favor of Heretics. Now that Dragon we were speaking about, G2 going to be the first to start that one off. They pushed in bot, they also have the push in mid. Might be looking for something, but yeah, Kaiser respecting it.
It's a spectator Drake at this stage. Kaiser just kind of poking, prodding. Maybe they can hopefully go for something, catch somebody off guard, but they're mostly just there to watch G2 take the Drake. They don't have the priority, they don't have the jungler.
So I mean, one of the problems with Jankos' pathing is that by pathing from bot to top, he's basically mirroring Yike's path, right? Which means that Yike's clear is just faster. So he's always a step behind, right? He couldn't cross map for the grubs. He can't really contest or get anything else on the map while the Dragon is started. And Yike is taking full advantage of his Lillia, just having that incredibly fast clear speed on top of the fact that he has a pushing bot and a pushing mid. So G2 kind of building smaller and smaller advantages in this early game, which aren't reflected in the gold right now, but in terms of objectives, they're in a very good position.
They are. I mean, they've gotten the first spawn of the grubs. They've gotten the Drake as well. And while, again, yes, it doesn't amount to massive gold advantages, they are building up a lead in terms of objectives, which at a certain point could blow over. You could find a single kill in mid lane with the power of a Herald, if they're able to grab that when it spawns, really break this game wide open. And I think it's always concerning when Yike has a lead like this, especially on the Lillia on this patch. Treatz talked about it on the desk. Easy purchase of the Frozen Heart in this game. There's an Azir, the Jhin, the Zhin, all not going to be happy to see that item on the opposite side. Dive in the bot lane, though. Flakked now trying to get out, has a 4th shot. Doesn't even get to fire it. 1 bullet left in the clip. Onsama still standing strong. Meanwhile, top side all in. Catching Wunder out. Wunder will get cut down. Jankos now going to try to follow up, lock out the entire enemy team. Yike will get taken down. Jankos, can he go for 2? Pull back there for BrokenBlade. Dashes away, has the Ghost as well.
An action all across the map. Caps!
Scooped back there.
Nice response from Perkz. Caps looking for an all-in, and immediately Caps forces him Perkz rather forces him underneath the tower. Cap's getting a little overzealous, trying to go back and forth with Perkz, but G2 finding a kill both in bot and top, creating dives on both sides of the map. In the bot lane, unfortunately for Heretics, they couldn't get anything back, but in the top side, Jankos was there to punish, and he's able to get a kill back onto Yike. That's definitely going to help him close that goal gap that slowly starts to get built in the mid lane, as Kaiser's now hovering around mid once more.
Ready to commit. They know that there's no flash available for Caps. Will back away. Hoping just to help Perkz push out here. Is still just on bits and pieces of the first item. Caps in a similar state, but I do really like the aggressive trading philosophy of Caps, but that's something we can talk about at a later point as we see this dive one more time. Level advantage, level 6 to level 5.
That's the biggest thing. I noticed the positioning of Hansama, tries to get in front of Kaiser so that he can get as much damage out of his Q as possible, then has the ultimate available, chooses to throw it now, thinking that, oh, maybe I can get another kill here, but doesn't quite have the damage to secure another kill, and they decided, you know what, it's not worth overstaying for this. We'll just take the kill and back off. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, they set up that dive with the stacked wave onto Wunder. BrokenBlade and Yike were able to get that kill, but as we mentioned, Jankos in a good position to shut down that aggression, and he's able to get a return kill onto Yike. Now, the Grubs have respawned. Let's look at the minimap. We can see the push in mid going in favor of Perkz and Kaiser. That means that they can look to try and contest this. With the push in top as well, Heretics finally have some control over the lanes to set them up for their first neutral objective.
Potential counter bunch on the bottom side. Would have been a dive onto Flakked, but Flakked has already conceded the wave. He's going to give up a lot of resources individually, but it stops 6 Grubs from going over to the side of G2 as they're just not in a position to contest topside. Kaiser coming down here, though, could be disastrous. Keep your eyes on Yike. Swirl sleeves over the wall. If he manages to connect, it could be big. Mikyx keeping this play going. Unbreakable now going down. Yike not quite able to get there, however. Nice knockup coming up from Kaiser. Kaiser can jump back onto Flakked. They're just able to grab the kill. As Perkz once again goes for the scoop. Caps jumping out to safety. Jankos does not have anything else left. Fights across the map.
G2's bot lane is constantly looking for picks. Wunder now going to bring his TP down to the bot lane. They're trying to get a collapse onto Mikyx. Maybe he can find an execute. Does have the Hex Flash. Can he get to a
Flash
tower?
over the wall into the waiting arms of Kaiser. Surprise! There's nowhere left to go. Donating the kill over to Perkz. Pretty big. Now the TP coming out as well. TPing back to top lane to catch the wave. A little bit awkward as he did not get to recall to buy early items. But we'll be able to make sure that no resources just go into the gutter there on the top side.
You can see this gold starting to balloon in favor of G2. Of course, not insurmountable yet. Heretics are not out of this game by any means. But it does feel like that G2 are very quickly responding to everything that Heretics want to do. And a lot of this gold advantage is just coming from the plates. The fact that BrokenBlade got himself a plate in the top side of the map, 2 plates secured bot along with another kill, means that G2 are finding these advantages. And Heretics, though, they're in a position to potentially contest this dragon. 15 seconds, but the resets have come through from G2.
And if you look at the total goal by Santander, Hans Ama just pulling wildly far ahead. Yes, he has a kill. Yes, he has an assist, but so much of that is CS because, again, in that previous sequence of play, Flakked didn't get to CS whatsoever. He was isolated. He was not allowed to approach that tier 1 tower, and as a result, it feels like Team Heretics have just opted to swap lanes here, leaving Wunder on the bottom side, knowing that he is so much safer to just catch these waves.
But no one is there for BrokenBlade. Perkz with no TP means that they're going to send him top mentally. BrokenBlade, no TP himself. It is G2 that have control over the bot side river for now. Heretics did set up good vision earlier, but that's now been sweeped out, and they're doing what they can. Oh, there still is a ward there. Thank you, observers, for highlighting that one. So G2 are just going to go back to pushing out these waves. They're making sure they're playing on the pressured waves, and now they go back to the dragon. With a push in mid and bot, they'll start the objective. No one from bot lane is actually moving yet, which I think is a better position for G2. As long as Perkz isn't there, they should feel very confident that they'll win a fight. And Heretics, they're just going to act as spectators for the time being. Another advantage gain for G2.
Yep. Dragon going down. Mountain Soul on the table. Jhin notoriously bad at getting through tanky front lines, so would be nice to have. First items, there for Perkz, there for Caps. Still just a little bit behind for Flakked. He's the one who suffered the most in this early game, I think it's safe to say.
Oh, yeah. He's, I mean, Jankos did try to cover in the early game, but the dive happened, and Jankos was obviously in the top side of the map, and then as you highlighted, when the grubs are being taken, G2 made that cross map happen, and he really suffered as a result, so.
And it's one of those situations where you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Correct,
because if you ignore, you're going to give them the 6 buff, and that's, or 5 or 6 at that point, and that's going to be pretty difficult to play out. You're still going to lose a lot in terms of towers if they have that buff. Or Flakked has to lose a bunch of CS, so those are your choices. And Flakked, obviously the one to come up short here. Still has a lot of utility with the Jhin pick, though.
It's also one of those things where in the past, if that was a Herald, you could have swapped your bot to topside, and even if they get the plates, use the Herald to then compensate by having the Herald reinvest the plates back. But only just now is the Herald going to be spawning into the game, which means that it's harder to make that swap happen and could potentially still be just as devastating. Resets now coming in from Heretics, which means once again, G2 are first to the objective. They have control over the river. And while G2 haven't had the best early game so far this split, you have to give them credit. Their objective control has been very, very good. Against BDS, even at a deficit, they're able to find all the Drakes. Yesterday, they were still controlling all of the early game Drakes against Mad.
Yeah, and I mean, the early game against Mad was a little bit nerve-wracking in terms of a lot of those skirmishes, but it was that diligence and objective control that ultimately allowed them to find the comeback at later stages of the game.
But now the responsibility is on Heretics to find that comeback. Again, we look at the gold and you sit there and think, well, they're not in that bad of a position. Pretty much the only difference in gold actually exists between the AD carries, which can be compensated for if they can find their way onto Handsama. And the way these fights are going to play out, Heretics have a lot of range. Azir, Jhin, a lot of potential damage as long as they can play the safe front to back. So even though G2 are finding a lot of these early objectives, I would definitely say they're not out of this game by any means.
No, they certainly aren't, especially with a support like Braum. Yes, Nautilus offers you a lot of upfront CC, early to mid-game a lot of damage as well, but Braum Unbreakable is one of the most powerful abilities in the game, doubly so against double AD carries on the opposite side. The ability to mitigate any potential damage that could go onto your backline, regardless of who it's being targeted at, is super, super powerful. So as we get later into the game, might be some more avenues for Team Heretics to fight back, but eventually the Drakes are going to stack up for G2. One more, and we know that Heretics are going to have to be ready to fight for 4th Drake.
And I imagine that they may very well look to contest the 3rd one. As the map becomes more and more open, it becomes more about trading sides rather than just going back and forth and who has that pressure in the lane. So I look at the minimap right now, and it's these outer towers that these teams have their eyes on. But again, look at the bot side. G2 have this constant push with BrokenBlade. They're keeping the push in mid with Handsama. And Heretics are kind of overstacking on the top side of the map, but they're leaving mid open. Now Flakked has to go and respond, which gives a window for G2 to send 4 members top side. Let's see if they can turn this into anything, and the Herald now comes through.
All right, Yike. Is he ready? Will he mess this up? Feels like an easy shot. Oh, and there's the connect. 1 tower down. Is it time to mount up again? How committed are G2 to the top side play? Perkz has been marked. Can be put to sleep. Might's on the run here. This time it's Mikyx's turn. He will also connect with the Herald. Jumping out to safety, and Kaiser immediately going to try to follow up. Locking down Caps. Flawless CC to take the mid laner out. Instantly Wunder on the flank. Clean flashback from Handsama to try to lock him up. Knock back onto the AD carry. Heretics can win this fight, but Yike is so damn strong. In he goes. That's a very drowsy Xin Zhao. That is a very dead Xin Zhao. BrokenBlade on the front line as well. G2 turn it right back.
A nice initial engage from Heretics. BrokenBlade not done.
Back, Kaiser down as well. G2 so quick to turn that back in their favor, even without Caps, but Perkz, he's not done yet. Lays down the tower. Flakked set up as well. 3, 4th bullet coming through. BrokenBlade too damn tanky. Dashes into the waiting arms of Mikyx and walks away clean.
They just can't get through. BrokenBlade able to soak up so much damage, do so much work in the fight. Handsama was barely involved because he got knocked out by Wunder. And G2 still end up victorious in the fight. A 5.5, 6k gold lead now in their favor. Caps may have spotted out Perkz, but Perkz not going to take the bait. He's going to play it safe for now. This
Cap's going to take the bait.
He's going to take the bait. He's looking for it. Now the Dragon spawning in about 10 seconds time. We'll see who can get to that objective first. It's likely to be G2, but the engage here from Heretics look good. They're first on the trigger. The TP comes through fairly early. They lock down Caps, and the chain CC looks good. But look at the Perkz HP. He's afraid to commit fully with the ultimate, but they think here, this is great. When Wunder gets the ultimate up, look at what BrokenBlade's doing on the backside. He's going to do a lot of damage, create a lot of disruption, isolate Wunder, and the rest of Heretics can't really get involved. Flakked, oh, chain CC comes in from both Mikyx and Yike, forcing him out of the engagement. But now we're back to live.
Next Dragon, Mikyx locked up, knocked back by Wunder, slows on the ground. Mikyx still retreating, 3 stacks of concussive blows. They can't get anything else. Kaiser locked up, Kaiser taken out of the equation. G2 moving up to Soul Point here. Heretics ready to fight for it, but just didn't have enough. And the thing about that fight, Vedius, is that while it feels so good to start a fight killing Caps, look at the difference between Caps and Perkz and Gold. They're dead even. Caps does not matter. It is Hans and Yike. If they do not kill one of those priority targets to start a fight, that's when they're really going to feel that gold deficit.
I'm going to be honest. I think BrokenBlade is the problem.
There are 3 now. There were 2 when we checked in 5 minutes ago. There are 3 members that you have to kill.
It's not even necessarily his damage. It's the fact that Heretics don't have the damage to kill him, right? Like, you have a Nash's Tooth on Perkz versus 2 completed items in Jankos and Sunfire, right? Like, it's not enough to melt through BrokenBlade. So now in the mid game, he's just this wall that you have to find a way to get through. And while you're dealing with him, there's just this prancing little fairy pixie deer that's just creating chaos.
I'm sympathetic for Heretics, because for their top side, when AD carries used to be made back in the day, they could auto-attack any number of times they wanted.
True.
Not just 4. They're probably caught off by how hard it is to kill this tank. Shots now coming in. Mikyx will get taken down. Solid pick to kick things off, but Yike looking for a bit of follow-up. Sleep is big. Handsama there. gonna mop them up. G2 are disgustingly far ahead. Team Heretics have no business being in this jungle. On paper, it's theirs. In reality, it belongs to G2. And Caps now wants a little bit more. It's feeling a little bit personal. I don't entirely know about that one. Perkz going golden. Lineup from Hansama is there. It's clean. It's a double. And G2 are, well, they've taken over completely.
I mean, they completely have. Heretics, we saw some promising things, but really from the laning phase with the amount of priority that G2 had, Yike was just running amok, controlling all of the early game objectives. And then when it came to the fights, I don't even think that Heretics were in that bad of a position, but when it came down to execution, G2 just executed that bit better. Now the TPs are coming through. Jankos is still far away. There should be a clean secure.
Wunder gonna try to stop it. Only knocks Mikyx away though. This might dangerously close to not working, but there is no contest as BrokenBlade has zoned Jankos off. Swirl Seed connecting as well. Yike starting to step forward. Is gonna be careful. BrokenBlade in the middle of 5 people.
And they kill him.
He does not win those.
He does not.
See, guys, Cassante is balanced. Oh, they can kill him. It's fine.
Yes,
Tank items aren't a problem. Totally normal to take all 5 members of your team.
I mean, a big shutdown there secured for Perkz. Definitely going to be happy with that one. But the Baron, losing Baron, probably not the situation that Heretics wanted to find themselves in. Nice pick on the Mikyx. Unfortunately, the Caps flank means that the kind of front to back gets broken up. Now that front line is left completely isolated. Hansama and Yike just destroyed them.
I mean, Team Heretics actually cannot fight a front to back at this point. G2 just will not give it to them.
I mean, you don't often see the Tristana flank, but hey, it is Caps that we're dealing with. As you rightly said, definitely felt personal. Caps, every time he sees Perkz, he's just jumping in.
He doesn't actually know you can W backwards. Yeah. He's unaware. Whoops.
Yike.
There we go. Yike now gonna get locked up. This is big, but Yike is so strong, it does not matter. Buys a bit of time with the Seekers. Now coming through, trying to get a bit more damage down. Flakked all the way over there, but Hansama trying to take the AD carry out. Controlled fight so far. Support for support traded. Hansama also not fantastic at killing tanks. Really needs those blight stacks to do some damage.
Wunder acting as an effective front line, but it's G2 that have regained control over the bot side of Heretics jungle. They need to go and catch these waves, which is exactly what they're going to go and do. Kind of being herded back into their side of the map as Yike continues to take away. Level 14 on the Lillia now.
This is brutal. It's like POW World. G2 are just collecting Heretics like little POWs. Little definitely not Pokemon. Making them work. Their jungle now, Betty. There's no room left on the map.
True.
I mean, like, look. I love to sow these little seeds in the back of people's minds. It's like the comeback. How can it happen? Yada, yada, scaling. Ooh, narrative. Let's get it in there. It's a 10K gold deficit, Vedius.
Yep.
It's not 40 minutes in the game. It's 22 minutes in the game.
I mean, this is the best early game that G2 have had, I think, all split.
Yeah.
One of the things that you'd say for G2 is their early games haven't been good.
Well,
Hansama hasn't had the best split, but I mean, they did this game. Heretics didn't really have a lot of tools to try and go toe-to-toe with them. One of the things that Razork talked to us about was how Jankos, Flakked, and Kaiser do actually have a pretty strong 3-man unit, but we didn't really get to see it in action because Caps' priority meant that every time they tried to make that happen, it was always going to be a numbers disadvantage because of how quickly he could move. So overall,
they got hit by the Swirl Seed, though. That is 2 very sleepy members of Heretics. Just trying to take a break, but Taskmaster Yike will not let it happen.
And they're just keeping...
They have to just group up like this because if any single person is left isolated...
But it's so obnoxious for Heretics because you'll notice bots pushed in, mids pushed in. And this is happening every single time. It's just push, 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 push. And they just feel stuck. We have to catch this wave, but we need to contest this objective. And they just have no control over the map whatsoever. And they're just being run around. Now G2 grouping up in this bot lane.
I'm sorry, just if you thought it was hard to kill BrokenBlade before, he now has Mountain Soul. So... Curtain call coming in. Bit of damage onto Mikyx. Wunder going for the knockback there. Not quite going to connect on the wall.
Good damage from Flakked.
Yike going to watch out, eep his way out to safety. And they're just getting hurted. They're getting chipped away at. The satchel charge is there. The Unbreakable is down. And now all of Team Heretics are forced to back away.
I mean, the Varus poke is just... it's so obnoxious. Heretics are forced to retreat. That's going to be an inhibitor going down as well. And the Baron spawns in a minute 45. Now the TP flank, last-ditch effort from Heretics.
Spotted on a ward, Root's not going to connect. Double TP flank control ward means they probably still spotted Perkz.
And it's not going to turn into anything.
There's no objective here to play for either, so they can't really convert off the play even if they had made it happen.
G2 need to reset because of the Baron in 130. They need to get back control. Now they're going to play around mid and top. They're going to start pushing their vision into the enemy top side, and Heretics are trying to get early on the vision. Maybe they can use that to find a pick. They need to overstack in the jungle, wait for Mikyx to overextend again. Maybe they can convert that into something. But it's really just a lot of desperation plays. You're trying to catch G2 in the motions now rather than any set plays. And you can see that they're trying. They're moving into this fog of war, but there's just vision everywhere, and it's so difficult for them to play.
And there's really no clean choice. Every choice is a messy one for the side of Team Heretics. Even if you try to find an advantage, even if you find what seems to be a clean pick, BrokenBlade can teleport to bot lane, can push in, maybe take a tower. If you overcommit and you trade even, G2 might still be able to take Baron. You need to do so much. You need to play so flawlessly, and it's gone beyond that point to, as you highlighted, G2 now have to make a mistake for Team Heretics to find a way in.
They're looking at mid right now. They see Hansam isolated, but he's suspicious of over the wall. Yike and BrokenBlade are now here to cover him. Wunder looking for something, but it's not going to result in much.
I mean, Braum E, Poppy ult, two abilities that can absolutely turn the tide of a team fight. They can knock out key carries, maybe Team Heretics can find a way, but it's only 2 items on Flakked. It's been such a tough
BrokenBlade
game.
is Jhin will never kill BrokenBlade.
Never.
BrokenBlade could stand still. Yes. I still don't think Jhin could kill.
No, I don't. His natural health regen will probably...
It's like that scene in Sword Art.
Yeah. He is not the right level.
He's not the right level.
The MMO is just hard cap, no matter how good you are. You
numbers don't lie, man. The numbers don't lie.
I
mean, yeah, it's just... There's nothing for Heretics to do.
And it's a great game from G2, but it was a great game from G2, you know, the first 20 minutes. At this point, it's just a very long, kind of drawn-out victory lap. Again, it's just about, can they close out clean?
Well, look, they're waiting for BrokenBlade to get the push in mid. Now that he's got that push, walking the wave up, they're having both waves crash at the same time. Great patient play. They talked about their mid game. They want to improve that, and right now, they played an incredibly clean one.
Yeah. And really, at this stage, if they commit too many members to BrokenBlade, G2 get the tower topside, or they force the dive. If they don't commit enough members, BrokenBlade grabs the inhibitor and the tower uncontested. And right now, Team Heretics know they have to commit 5 members to topside. This is their only avenue back. Cleanse out from Flakked. BrokenBlade on the flank. Flawless Varus ult to kick things off. Kaiser desperately just trying to disengage, but Perkz is already gone. And at this stage, G2, they're beating them down with their wallets, with their buffs, with everything that they've got. And Team Heretics just do not have what it takes to go toe-to-toe. G2, they're going to win the game. It's going to take a second here, and they might play for a few extra kills, but it is absolutely over.
You can see that G2 took this game very seriously from start to finish, in absolute control. Heretics found some nice fights, but it's not enough.
Absolutely not. Kaiser. Top watch a bit more expensive. He still opts for it. G2 moving up to 4-1. A clean performance from start to finish. From the jungle pathing of Yike, the pressure across the map, each individual standing out in their own way. Great game from G2 Esports.
I mean, not much to say. They executed upon their plan very well. And ultimately, it comes back to what the desk was saying in the draft. Bot mid, the way in which they control it. And that's exactly what they did. They kept the pressure in bot and mid, and then Yike on Lillia just abused that fact. Constantly invading, putting Jankos behind. There was a point where we were only like 6 minutes into the game, and there was a full level difference between the two junglers, and that's not Jankos' fault. There was nothing he could do about it, right? Like,
and it sounds to me like your Poggy Woggy was Yike, but of course there are 3 options for player of the game at LEC on X, BrokenBlade, Yike, and Hansama. Again, immaculate performance across the board. Fantastic from G2. When we return, an interview with Hansama, but for now, a quick break.